Every year, millions of people buy self-help books hoping to change their lives. And yet, we're more anxious, more distracted, and more powerless than ever. Marcus Aurelius warned about this trap nearly 2,000 years ago, and we've been falling into it ever since. Have you noticed that the more self-help you consume, the less progress you actually make? You finish a book feeling pumped, ready to become the new you. But 2 weeks later, you're scrolling Instagram telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Your bookshelf becomes a graveyard of abandoned promises. It's not that you're lazy. It's that the modern self-help industry was never built to free you. It was built to keep you dependent. The same way schools teach you just enough to obey but never enough to question. Self-help sells you just enough motivation to keep coming back for more. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome, wrote in his private journal, later known as Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Notice the brutality of that advice. No 10-step plan, no vision board, no morning routine checklist, just do it now. Because he knew that endless learning without action is just another form of procrastination. Today's self-help is the opposite of this. It's safe improvement. It's theoretical courage. It's change you can experience without ever facing real risk, which is why you can binge 100 self-help books and remain the exact same person. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The self-help industry survives only if you stay broken. If you actually solved your problems, you wouldn't need their books, seminars, or online courses. So they sell you hope in small doses, enough to feel inspired but never enough to escape. In the next part, I'll show you how Nietzsche predicted this cycle over a century ago, and why your obsession with fixing yourself might be the very thing keeping you weak. Marcus Aurelius told us to stop talking about virtue and be it. But Nietzsche took this further. He warned that most people don't live their values at all. They just borrow them from others. And in the age of self-help, that's exactly what's happening. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche writes, "You call yourself free. I would hear of your ruling thought and not that you have escaped from a yoke." His point? Most people don't free themselves. They just trade one master for another. You leave the school system master and pick up a new one, the self-help guru. Instead of questioning life for yourself, you let someone else feed you prepackaged wisdom, and you confuse reading with living. Self-help today works like fast food for the mind. It feels good, it's instantly satisfying, but it leaves you weaker in the long run. You're outsourcing your thinking, your confidence, your decisions. Think about the last time you read a morning routine of successful people article. It probably told you to wake up at 5 a.m., drink lemon water, journal, meditate, and take cold showers. Sounds impressive, but it's someone else's life. It might not even work for you. Yet you feel guilty when you can't replicate it perfectly. That guilt isn't accidental. It's built into the self-help machine. Because if you feel like you're failing, you'll buy the next book, sign up for the next program. The danger Nietzsche saw, and what we see today, is this. When you constantly borrow wisdom, you never develop your own. You become a collector of other people's philosophies. But when life punches you in the face, you have nothing truly yours to stand on. Nietzsche believed that truth is not something you receive. It's something you create through struggle. Self-help skips the struggle. It hands you someone else's map but never forces you to walk through your own wilderness. In the next chapter, we'll bring in Carl Jung and his brutal take on why chasing perfection through self-help is actually making you weaker, more anxious, and further from who you really are. Nietzsche warned us, live by borrowed wisdom and you'll never stand on your own feet. Now Carl Jung is taking this one step even deeper, into the unconscious mind, and exposed why we're so drawn to self-help in the first place. Jung believed that we all have what he called the shadow, the hidden, messy, uncomfortable parts of ourselves we refuse to face. And here's the twist. Modern self-help often works as a form of shadow avoidance. When you're endlessly reading tips, watching productivity hacks, and setting new you goals, you're not confronting your flaws. You're decorating over them. It's like painting a crumbling wall. The cracks are still there. You've just made them Instagram friendly. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Translation? You can meditate at sunrise every day, but if you still can't admit you're insecure, jealous, or afraid of failing, you've changed nothing. Self-help rarely forces you to wrestle with your darkness, because that's not marketable. Selling 10 easy ways to be happy moves more books than "Here's how to face the parts of yourself you hate." Think of the influencers selling $1,997 life transformation courses. They post filtered smiles, talk about manifesting abundance, and show off beach sunsets. But here's the thing, that curated perfection feeds your ideal self, while deepening the split with your real self. You chase the version of you that looks good online and bury the version that cries at night. Self-help without self-honesty is just self-deception. You're not fixing yourself. You're building a more sophisticated mask. Jung would tell you, stop trying to become the perfect version of yourself and start becoming the whole version. And here's the brutal truth. Wholeness comes from doing the hard, boring, uncomfortable work that no self-help bestseller can package into a weekend workshop. In the next chapter, we'll bring all of this together with a surprising truth from ancient Stoicism. Why the real path to strength has nothing to do with becoming more and everything to do with needing less. Alright, so Jung showed us that chasing the perfect self just builds a prettier mask. Now the Stoics, from Epictetus to Seneca, would have told you the same thing but with a sharper edge. Stop adding more. Start removing what weakens you. Self-help today is an industry of addition. Add habits, add routines, add vision boards, add affirmations. But Stoic philosophy flips this on its head. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True strength, in their view, came from subtraction, from stripping away everything unnecessary until you're left with the core of who you are. Look at how we approach improvement now. We buy planners instead of learning discipline. We memorize quotes instead of living them. We download apps to track habits we never had the courage to form in the first place. This is what Seneca warned about when he said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." You might think you're working on yourself, but you're just consuming improvement products. The more you crave the next tool, the weaker you become, because you've built a dependency on external props to feel capable. Scroll through YouTube and you'll see endless thumbnails promising 10 habits to change your life, 5 hacks for confidence, morning routine for millionaires. We binge them like candy, convincing ourselves it's progress. But real change, the Stoics knew, wasn't glamorous. It's refusing the impulse to buy, to compare, to react, even when every fiber of you wants to. Here's the paradox. The more you strip away, the stronger you become. Not because you're adding new powers, but because you're no longer held hostage by your cravings, fears, and fake needs. The Stoics didn't promise transformation in 30 days. They promised hardship, restraint, and a quieter mind. And that's the hidden path the self-help industry will never sell you, because you can't monetize needing less. In the final chapter, we'll bring Marcus Aurelius, Nietzsche, Jung, and the Stoics together to show you exactly what to do instead of endlessly reading self-help books, so you can finally break the cycle for good. So let's do this. We've seen how Marcus Aurelius cut through excuses. Nietzsche warned against borrowed wisdom. Jung exposed our masks, and the Stoics taught the power of needing less. Now comes the real question. If self-help books are making you weaker, what do you do instead? Nietzsche would tell you, stop collecting other people's philosophies and start writing your own. That doesn't mean publishing a book. It means living by principles you've tested in your own life. Pick one idea you've read about and practice it relentlessly for 30 days before learning anything new. No stacking, no just one more chapter. You learn by doing, not by hoarding advice. Jung would push you to confront the parts of yourself you keep avoiding. Instead of reading another confidence tips article, sit down and journal the real reasons you're afraid of speaking up, starting that project, or ending that relationship. No filters, no positive spin. Brutal honesty is more valuable than any motivational quote. Now from the Stoics. Before you try adding a new habit, ask yourself, what can I remove that is making me weaker? Is it endless scrolling? A toxic friendship? The constant need to be productive even when you're exhausted? Each thing you subtract is one less chain on your mind. Here's the challenge. For the next 7 days, don't read a single piece of self-help content, including this channel. Instead, take one lesson from what you've already learned and live it. If it's Stoic detachment, practice it at work. If it's Nietzschean courage, speak up in a moment where you'd usually stay silent. If it's Jungian shadow work, have the uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding. Self-help is only real when it hurts, when it costs you comfort, when it forces you to change something you'd rather keep the same. Everything else is entertainment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Stop waiting for the perfect system or next big secret. You have enough knowledge already. What you need now is the courage to act." If you want more hidden truths from history's greatest minds, not the sugar-coated versions, subscribe now, because the system isn't going to tell you this, but I will.